You're listening to The Money Hour with your host, Tina Mitchell. Sponsored by Absolute Mortgage, a division of Pinnacle Capital Mortgage Corporation. Now, in the studio, local mortgage and finance expert, Tina Mitchell.
Welcome back to The Money Hour with your host and mortgage expert, Tina Mitchell, right here at 1150 AM KKNW, the Saturday, August 13th show. I bring in studio each week the best of the best experts in our local market on everything regarding your money. I'm here to help you in today's economy. If you're hearing my show at a different time or day, you're listening to a rebroadcast, you can talk with the guests I have in studio or myself by calling the show at 1-855-400-1150. Again, that's 1-855-400-1150 or online at themoneyhour.com. In studio with me right now, I have Cherie Carchano with Centrex Real Estate. Cherie, thank you for joining me in studio today.
Thank you for having me, Tina. Pleasure being here.
And a little bit about Cherie. Cherie's been serving the King County real estate industry since 1986. She's been a realtor, commercial real estate underwriter, residential loan officer, and has owned her own real estate company since 2006. This year, she was chosen the 5-star award for real estate brokers, and her passion are lighting, design, and staging. And excited, Cherie, to get your take on what's happening in our real estate market. I know it's a common question that buyers and sellers and even us in the industry are asking. Are we getting ready to hit a real estate bubble?
I really don't think so. I get asked this question at least once a week.
Yes.
Because everybody it was so devastating the last time, and everybody saw how badly things went. And so everybody's in that same fear mode. Are we doing this all over again only 10 years later?
Uh-huh.
And I don't think so.
I agree with you as well. Cherie, what I always say to people too, I mean, nobody can predict the market, but if you remember from the history of real estate and what happened, even if we were to hit a bubble, the way you lose real estate in a real estate market is you're forced to sell in a bad market. So you hold on and look what happens. We always recover. So there's always going to be those adjustments in the market. It's just you want to be in the for the long haul. So Cherie, what has been a major cause of the bubbles of the past?
So yeah, being in the business over 30 years, I've been through 2 major bubbles bursting. The first one was in the 80s, and the second one, which was 8 to 10 years ago. And what caused those to burst had everything to do with the type of financing that was available to buyers at that time. And in the 80s, what people were able to do is put 5% down. They did have to qualify for the loan, but they got negative amortization loans.
Yes.
Which means their monthly payment that they were making was less than interest only. And that difference was then tacked on to the balance of their mortgage every month. So they may be making mortgage payments every month, but their balance of their mortgage is actually going up every month.
Yep.
And it was a way of getting people into more expensive homes. And the truth is they probably shouldn't have been buying them in the first place.
Yes.
This last go-around was 10 times scarier.
Yeah. Because
not only did we have the negative amortization loans, we also threw on top of that, you can go zero down now, so have no money in the game, and you get to state your own income.
Yeah, and have challenging credit on top of it.
And have challenging credit. This was a perfect storm for disaster.
Yeah.
Anybody who didn't see this coming must have had their head in the sand.
Yes.
It was very obvious what was going on. And we had people making moderate income buying very expensive waterfront property on Lake Washington.
Yeah.
And there was no way they were going to be able to hold on to that property. And because of those types of financing, people were losing their homes within the first 2 to 4 years of being in their home. It was very sad that they thought it was a good idea, that other people in the industry thought that this was a good idea because it was obviously devastating to this country.
Yes.
Having that type of financing.
I totally agree. And when clients ask or have any frustration at all with loan documents, I just let them, the government has stepped in and making decisions on what to do to protect our economy. Thank goodness there's been some change. And I don't think that we're going to see that come back again, at least to any extreme that it did. Thank goodness for all of us.
Yes.
So let's talk about what's different this time.
So again, because the Fed has come in and has much stricter regulations on lending practices these days, those types of loans are not available to Susie and Joe homeowner.
Yes.
And in addition, the buyer pool that we currently have in this area is a completely different person. So we have a lot of people that are moving here and getting jobs with Google, Microsoft, Amazon, T-Mobile. And the huge majority of those people have 20 to 30% to put down. And they're also conservative in general. They're conservative, so they're not maxing out their loan amount and maxing out the amount of house that they can purchase.
Yeah, it makes total sense. We do still have the down payment assistant programs, the lower down payment options, but there are credit requirements, there's income getting verified, and just making sure that people are in a position to be able to afford the mortgage, as you said before.
Absolutely.
So, Cherie, what about prices skyrocketing? Is this a good time to invest in real estate with all of the instant appreciation that we're seeing?
You know, again, I get asked this question all the time. Should I be getting in the real estate market at all? Or because they're afraid that it is a bubble.
Yes.
Well, of the people that I'm talking to that are typically getting financing and are coming here, getting jobs with the high-tech industry companies that we have here, I'm asking them, what do they see? And they see these companies are just trying to get bigger and bigger and bigger, hiring more and more people. So it appears that these jobs are still going to be around for quite some time. In addition, we also have a huge influx of cash buyers that are coming from out of the country. And I've talked to people from those countries saying, how much longer is this cash going to keep flowing into the U.S.? They're telling me, as I squint, 10 to 15 years. And that's just so hard for me to imagine. So I tell my own clients, I said, I think we're good for the next 5 years. So if we know that prices are going to be going up, and who knows if they're going to continue to be this dramatic, but clearly they're going to go up, it is a fabulous time to invest.
Yes.
The people who are flipping homes are doing incredibly well right now. And even for people that are not flipping but want to stay in their house, the home values are just going up, 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 and you got to live somewhere.
Exactly.
Rent prices are also going up.
Yes.
So yes, I think getting your foot in the market and holding on to some real estate right now is a fabulous idea.
Great advice. And I always have clients whenever they have that question too, just to run the cost of buying versus purchasing.
Right.
Or cost of waiting versus purchasing. And the big thing is the money. The inexpensive, the cost that you're getting on your money right now. And if you run the numbers, cost is always better than price.
Yes.
So you can do an assumption that the market is going to drop, which us in the real estate industry and the finance arena know that's not going to happen, at least in the near future. The question is, how long are we going to see the market like this?
Exactly.
But even if you were to assume that you're going to, the property values are going to go down, if you assume also that interest rates are going to go up, if you're listening right now, not enough time to go through the numbers, but run the numbers. And if you want me to run them for you, give me a call, because it's amazing and it's an aha moment to go, you know what? I think at some point in time rates are going to go up. So let's assume that the market is going to drop, and it's always better to buy at the low price or the low cost versus low price.
Absolutely. Couldn't have said it better.
So Cherie, what do you see in the end in sight for the rising prices to slow down a little bit?
I don't.
Yeah.
To me, it's insane, again, because I have been here locally for over 30 years and seen what the prices are doing. To me, is absolutely insane.
Yeah.
And I do have a lot of clients that are moving to this area, and they might move here, say in the spring, and they see what the prices are, but they're not quite ready to buy, or they're just not educated on the market, but they're thinking, I can get the $600,000 house now, and 6 months later, that house is a good $50,000, $75,000 more.
Yeah.
And I don't see an end in sight.
Yeah, and the interesting thing and kind of a little bit of a scary thing for those people out there that are renting, and why it's so important to take a look at your options, because I know there's so many people that feel that they can't do it when they actually are in a position to do it. And the scary thing is with the rents increasing, because we're lack of inventory in the rental market, we're lack of inventory in the housing market, we don't have any more land, so it's it'll be really interesting to see how it how it plays out. But to get into a position to where you actually are a homeowner and you've secured that price and you've secured the rate. And I, said last week or the week before during Money Chat, we've hit another historical low in interest rates. It's it's crazy to think that we have hit another historical low.
I know. It's amazing.
Get in and take advantage of these and lock down your price and your cost.
And that's the other thing I've also said to people who are thinking about buying in this market. I said, get into something so you're building equity as the prices are increasing.
Yep.
Because, if you're sitting on the sidelines, your savings account is not growing quickly as real estate is growing right now.
Good point, Cherie. So what can the general public do to keep well informed about the market conditions in their neighborhood?
What I recommend to everybody, everybody has a personal physician. Most people have their own CPA. Oftentimes they have their own attorney, go-to attorney. Everybody should have their go-to real estate broker.
Yes.
Doesn't mean you're going to sell your house in the next 6 months or the next year. Maybe it's 10 years out. But if you can establish a relationship with a great real estate broker who will constantly keep you informed, maybe you're driving through a neighborhood and there's something odd going on with the house and you just want to know some information about the house.
Yeah.
That go-to real estate broker will always be there and can give you any information and advice on what's going on in the real estate market.
Great. So let's talk about some mistakes that you're seeing sellers make in this market right now.
So one of the things, sellers are not quite understanding when we talk about the psychology of pricing homes. They hear all these stories about homes going $100,000 over list price. So they want to start at that $100,000 over list price. And the way the buyer psychology works, the buyers aren't even looking at those homes. And they're sitting on the market for quite some time. And the longer they sit on the market, the lower they're actually going to get for that home. So the sellers really need to talk to a good real estate broker that can give them some great advice on pricing the home appropriately so that they can generate that multiple offer situation.
Isn't it funny? No matter what market we're in, the biggest mistake that sellers can make is how they price their home.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's just always the, So let's talk on the other side about these homes that are overpriced by sellers that are not working with you and your advice on how to list their home and they're overpricing their home. I mean, these are great homes for buyers to really be looking at because I know buyers they don't look at them. They take them off their online list and they forget they're even there. Go find those houses because nobody's making offers.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You couldn't
really
be more
good strategy.
A wonderful strategy, yes. Yeah. And that's how I work with my buyers is, so let's look at something that's been on the market 2 to 4 weeks.
Yes.
Because you're right, you think
everybody would be doing that. It's just a perfect.
Well, technology is wonderful in this area, but what happens is everybody's on new listing.
Yes.
They're very focused on that. So the minute a new listing comes on the market, everybody's on it. And if it comes on the overpriced listing, if it comes on the market, everybody's like, oh, it's overpriced. And then they literally forget about it.
Yes. Well, they take it off, they put it in their junk or take it off their list and it never comes back up. So looking for those homes that are overpriced, maybe houses that, aren't, don't have that curve appeal and things that are where they're really doing what they should be doing with the staging correctly are great ones to go into.
Yeah, sellers do need to understand that. They really need to stage the home and really present it properly to the general public if they want to get top dollar.
To maximize that price. So what about buyers? What are buyers doing wrong in this market?
Well, I feel so badly for buyers because all of them need to go through an education process how insane this market is.
Yes.
And unfortunately, most buyers, they don't understand. They probably need to start out with a sales price that's well over list price. And typically they have to lose a house or two bidding on them and not getting them before they really understand. And then, a good broker then just shows them this is how much that property went over list price. And they just need to be educated. I can't say that they're making mistakes. They just...
Well, so that's a good point to make sure if you're a buyer out there, make sure you're talking with their realtor and getting the numbers to see so you can see before you go out and lose 2 or 3 houses and have to figure it out on your own. This is what the typical house is going over. I've got a couple minutes here. A couple things I want to touch on. Cherie, rents, what are happening with them? I mean, we know they're going up.
They're going up.
How long are they going to keep going up?
That's
kind of like the real estate appreciation.
In Seattle, that's the number one, I don't know if you want to call it scary question or not, because rents are escalating so quickly, and there has been threats of rent control in the city of Seattle.
Yeah.
Don't know if that's going to happen or not, but it is insane around here because even if you choose to live farther out, now you're paying a lot of money in gas to commute to work.
Yes. Yeah.
So I'm seeing a lot of people, they're just putting 2, 3, 4 people in the same house as opposed to living by themselves.
Yeah.
To be able to afford these crazy rent prices. Yeah.
Last question. I just need to take us to break. New construction. What are you seeing?
That's right now. I have several vacant land pieces available, and what these sellers are able to get for this vacant land is insane because they're not making more land. And so anytime you have vacant land, those prices are going up. The new construction starts are not even beginning to keep up with the amount of people that are moving to this area.
Crazy.
So we're continuing to have this, this crunch of a lot of buyers and not enough inventory.
Yeah. Crazy, crazy market without a doubt. Cherie, thank you so much for coming in and sharing your wealth of information with my listeners. It was great seeing you.
Thank you, Tina.
Coming up next on the Money Hour, what's happening in today's real estate market with one of my other realtor partners, Tanya Eliason with Cascade Team Real Estate, right here on 1150 AM KKNW after this short break.